midway, knocking teams out every Sunday. Fire in our eyes, can't stop our drive. Hit so hard, remind you of 85. We the Bears, monsters of the midway, knocking teams out every Sunday. Fire in our eyes, can't stop our drive. Hit so hard, remind you of 85.
Take a look at Chicago, you can smell it in the air. There's a hungry team called Soldier Field going nuts, jumping out their chair. Teams rather be anywhere but here. We don't care if it's below zero. Better tougher for the snow, we still gon' break roads. If we win the point flip, we choosing to kick. Cause we got a defense that love to hit. Polarize the link with our smash mouth D's. Slicing up teams like Mike Singletary. Forever repping the seat, making Papa Bear proud. Giving Chicago something to shout about.
We the Bears, monsters of the
Guys, it's Tuesday, so we must be talking about another episode of the Panda and Grizzly Show. What's up? I'm Brian the Grizzly. We got Grant over there. Got Baron down below. What's up, everybody? How you feeling?
Tired.
Tired. You ain't do no work. We ain't talking about work. I went to work for 4 minutes and then said I'm tired.
Nah,
like this
it's-
over here.
Yeah. I'm good though. I'm energized and ready for the show.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about. I really want to get on topic, stay on topic today because it's just a lot of things going on. Guys, it's day one of the Bears minicamp.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we went through OTAs, right? We went through all the stuff. We have a lot of things that we have to learn. We've learned and things that we're going to learn, especially, as we get, into a lot of this stuff. I mean, we got to go figure out what's going on offensive tackle. We're going to figure out what's going to happen at running back. What's this thing with DJ Moore and Ben Johnson talking about his showing of emotions and people running with those drills and his feelings and stuff like that. Is he going to learn how to control those things? And if he can't, what will be consequences? All those things are really going to be brought up today. Not to mention Cole Kmet being one of Ben Johnson's favorite players, one of the smartest players on the team. Then why did you drive Colston Loveland? We'll discuss those things. But I kind of want to start with the retirement of Frank Ragnow. All right. A lot of people we should know who Frank Ragnow is. He's played 7 years for the Detroit Lions. He has been amazing. I mean, honestly, he's consistently among what the all pro of centers. He's a 4-time Pro Bowl, I believe it was 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024, 3-time second team Pro Bowl. He was all pro 2020, 2023, 2024. He's probably the best pass blocking and run blocking. They always say he's one of the most intelligent guys on the field, one of the toughest guys on the field, and he's gone. Now, I kind of put that as this is a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Not having to deal with Frank the Tank every time that he comes on the field is a good thing. And I'm not saying that I'm happy, but I'm not sure as hell not sad. So what were your feelings about this breaking news? Because he was actually in the middle of a contract talk. So Baron, you could go first, and then we'll go with Grant. What were your feelings about Ragnow?
It was surprising. He's he's 30 years old. He shouldn't be retiring right now after pretty much being, he had injuries. He was pretty healthy most of his career. He hasn't never really had these type of problems. So it's surprising that he retires this early, and kind of makes a giant hole with the Lions' offensive line straight through the middle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Grant, what were your feelings?
Like I said, it's a huge loss for them. But like I said, him being the cornerstone of their center position for them, it's going to be interesting to see who they replace him with. Because especially they're in the middle of contract talk, so obviously some pushed them over the edge to want to retire, going from a contract talks to retirement. So obviously it could be some feelings, some hurt feelings in that predicament. But like you said, I mean, it's bad for them, good for us. It's just Detroit's finding talent these last few years. They're probably going to find a decent replacement for him. But like I said, for us, it's a huge opportunity to take advantage of that, which once was a strength for the Detroit Lions, can now turn into a weakness depending on who they put in center. But like I said, I mean, it's a huge loss for them. But like I said, for us, opportunity for take advantage of, exploit that maybe we don't know if it's a weakness or not yet, but we have a chance to exploit that when we play them week 2 in this upcoming season. So we'll have to see.
I believe both of your answers were very good. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more information on it, and give you a food for thought. For what I'm hearing is that the Lions knew about this. They knew that this was something that could happen. Frank had a terrible toe injury, and he's been hurt year after year after year. All 7 of these years, he's had major injuries. He's had a hard time, kind of limping through the season. He's just tough as nails. I mean, Ben Johnson said this is the toughest player he's ever coached. Just plain and simple, the toughest guy I've ever coached. That's who Frank is. And when you play that hard, when you give all that to the game, and family means a lot to you, it doesn't surprise me that this happened. And why do I think that the Detroit Lions knew this was going to happen? It's because they drafted a center in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
This is not like if you have a young center, 30 years old, going in, coming in, you don't waste a 2nd round pick on a center.
Right.
And then why do you not announce it? Well, there's a couple things that happen right now, right? So this is past the June 1st date, right?
Yeah.
So you had those designations change past June 1st, and how you have salary cap savings if you wait till June 1st to do certain things.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why this happened. Okay, so the timing's not peculiar at all. We're getting into mini camps. It's going to save the money. And if he told them, he said, but I'm going to hold off on this until later, because you're negotiating a contract extension. And he's like, guys, I'm going to let you know, I've given you everything I have. I don't have anything left. I'm willing. I love this team. I'll do whatever it takes, but I really don't have anything left. If he tells you that, one thing you can do is say, okay, tip your hat to him and say, can you hold off for a couple of weeks because it's going to help us salary cap wise. I think that's exactly what happened. But with that being said, the Detroit Lions losing their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, and then their center is huge. And their left guard, right?
Yeah.
Ziegler. Yeah. Those are huge developments, and that's hard. I mean, as Chicago Bears fans, we know how bad it could be if you don't have a guard in the center on the same page, ready to go. We've experienced that for a long time. So, this could be a lot of things. And I will now pose this question to you guys. Does it now mean that the NFC North is wide open?
Yeah. No, it's broken a little. It's actually a little bit wider, but not to say wide open. It's still up for grabs. It was up for grabs even with him. So it'll be slightly more up for grabs than it was like a couple days ago.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say like it's surprising, because last year was pretty much up for grabs for like 2 teams at least. So
no, I think it was already up for grabs since last year. But I think this is like a small wrench in Detroit's thing to repeat this year. But like I said, you still have we don't know what's going on with Minnesota. We don't know what's going on with Green Bay. We don't even know what's going on with us. So like I said, it is up for grabs. But like I said, I still think Detroit still has Jared Goff. They still got Amon-Ra. They still got we don't know about Hutchinson yet.
Hutchinson's back. He's going 100%.
He's back.
So
I mean, like I said, they still have the key cornerstones of that roster still there, and they still got Dan Campbell. We don't know what kind of staff he has with the loss of Ben Johnson, the loss of Aaron Glenn, but we still the jury's still out on how these guys are going to recover from all those key losses. But like I said, they still have a lot of talent on those teams. So like I said, it's still up for grabs. But like I said, they can still win it again, depending on how the season goes and they can still win it again. So can't take them lightly.
Do I think that right now the division's up for grabs? I mean, as you said, Detroit won 15 games last year, so did Minnesota.
Right.
The Green Bay Packers made it into the playoffs too. We were the only team that didn't make it to the playoffs. So that means that this division is already probably the best division in all of football.
Right.
We're going to have to play catch up a lot right now.
Yeah.
So does this open it up more? It maybe brings the top down a little bit more.
Yeah.
It really does. I think it bunches us up a lot more. But if I was still betting that would Detroit be good, I'm going to bet that they're a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their schedule's still very favorable for them. And like I said, they've been having our number for the past few years.
No, they haven't.
Well,
we tend to play them
last year. Last year they did.
No, we played them. We tend to play them pretty close, even when they're bad.
But but I still think we still have not been able to finish. They have not resulted in wins. So when last year?
And the last couple of years, we've had a lot of games.
A lot of close games. Well, we beat them in 23. We were supposed to beat them actually 2 times in 23. But like I said, that was coaching. But like I said, as far as the Packers the Vikings had our number. The Packers, they've been having our number. So like I said, I think this is the prime time for us to take the division, or like Poles say, take the North back, and we'll never give it back. Like this is our time right now. I think with the new regime, especially what I've been hearing in the interviews on minicamp, there's a lot of positive vibes. So like I said, we have to see what we're gonna put out on the field once September comes. So we'll see.
Okay. That's enough talk about Ragnow and giving Detroit any kind of credit. I'm tired of that. Everybody else is not the Bears, but that's just right. Me, because I'm a hater. Superly hater. But for the Chicago Bears, we had day one of mini camp. There's a lot of things that have been going on. Seen a lot of articles even on the Bears.com talking about what they've learned. They wanted to talk about the 7 things we've learned so far. I'm going to bring these up real quick and ask you guys what you think about it. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Number 1, Coach Ben Johnson told reporters that he is seeing gradual improvement throughout the course of the offseason program. Duh. Right.
That's supposed
to happen.
Yeah. If it wasn't happening in doing the offseason prep program without pads, then we have a problem, right?
Yeah.
2. Said Johnson is enjoying working with Cole Kmet, revealing that the veteran tight end is high intelligence factor has been clear from the get-go. Why do you think that they're highlighting how intelligent Cole Kmet is?
They're trying to keep the peace in the locker room because they just drafted Colston Loveland, and they're trying to see how Cole Kmet react to them drafting him. How is he going to react as far as attitudes? Because he'll go out there with a pouty attitude and not really care and try to weed his way out of here, or is he going to be like, okay, let me get open to it, see if we can do it like these 2 tight end sets, and let's see how this works, how we can bring this thing together. So all eyes are going to be on him during this offseason, especially when Colston Loveland comes back off his injury. There'll be a lot of eyes on Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
All right. So we've seen in Ben Johnson's 2 tight end sets.
Yeah.
They don't both go out on passing a lot. Though there's 2 tight end sets, right?
Yeah.
They're not always going out on passing routes. Do you think Colston Loveland is the guy who's going to block?
Not really.
It's gonna be Cole. It's gonna be Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
So your captain of your team is probably going to get less opportunities, which is interesting because throughout this minicamp and throughout OTAs, he's been catching a lot of passes from Caleb Williams. So I'm really wondering how this is going to all mesh together. And it's kind of like what you just said, like they're trying to build him up right now because he knows he's going to have to take a hard fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still could see a situation where if Cole, like I said, depending on, we don't know when Colston Loveland, he says he's supposed to be back by training camp, right? It's going to be interesting to see how, because they're going to slowly ramp him up. They're not going to just throw him back and throw him to the wolves. Yeah. If Cole Kmet can earn that trust, where they may still put him on the field and have maybe Colston not be on the field as much. I mean, not go off for passing as much. I'm going to watch this during training camp, see how the 2 are with each other, see how they react with each other. But I do think there's a possibility, depending how Cole Kmet looks in Ben Johnson's offense, that we could see more Cole Kmet than Colston Loveland. There's a possibility there. You're already paying Cole Kmet. You're already paying him. So it's just like, why not, see what you have in him? I think he had a down year last year. Everybody knew he had a down year last year, but there was a lot of key factors of why that year was down last year.
Really?
Did
he really have a down year last year?
If you were to look at it from the standpoint of what he did in 23 compared to what he did in 24, I don't think he did. But like I said, the outside looking in, the armchair GMs out there said he had a bad year last year. So
yeah,
but it remains to be seen. But I'm really interested to see how this whole tight end thing goes, and see how it goes in training camp.
All right, Baron, as our resident Michigan fan, I want to ask you, Colston Loveland coming out of high school going into college, how good was he? Was he automatically playing as a rookie? Did he take some time to really figure all these things out? Like what?
He was like in the first like half of the season we saw him occasionally, but near the second half of the season we started seeing him a lot more often. He borderline became like the second tight end. He's like the pass catching tight end when this is when we had Schoonmaker on the team. Schoonmaker was on the team, and he was more of like the Cole Kmet type of player, like big body, kind of slow, but good hands. We use him as like the pass catcher tight end that sometimes we put out wide to be the more zip player on the other side. Yeah.
Okay. So he showed that he can handle himself, but he didn't start off really big on this in the offense. He worked his way into it slowly. Would either of you guys be surprised that if as Colston Loveland does kind of become more entrenched into the offense, that Cole Kmet becomes more of an F?
Yeah,
so meaning like a fullback, maybe in the backfield, using him in different ways.
Yeah,
this offense.
I think it depends. It depends on Cole. It all depends on Cole. What is he willing to do? He's been in losing teams for the longest, and is he willing to be that ultimate team player and just say, "Look, we're trying to win. My stats come, whatever comes with it, it comes with it. But we're trying to win. If he wants to make the sacrifice to do so, he'll do it. But I could definitely see him be like an F fullback coming out the backfield. I could see him doing that. He has the length, he has the blocking ability to do so. Like I said, but it all depends on what Ben Johnson wants for this offense. So we'll have to see about that.
Okay. All right. The third thing they want us to know about what we learned from this beginning of minicamp. Cole Kmet lost Johnson for his coach's obsessiveness and attention to detail. So now a big thing last year was that the players said they weren't pushed by the coaching staff, that they allow a lot of things to slip through the cracks. They wouldn't restart drills if someone did something wrong. They'll just keep them running to the next thing. And they're lauding Ben Johnson for what he's doing now. Do you think this is going something that could stay, or eventually they're going to have a problem?
That's required. I think that's required. What to be a great team is, hey, you made a mistake, run it again. We'll do it again until we get it right.
I think if like I said, I feel like these guys, most of the team, from what I've heard and read, they wanted Ben Johnson. So now that you got him here, like I said, we got no say so on how the practice should be ran, because we just came off a losing season. And it comes down to, all right, you want this stuff to turn around, or you want to be back at square one again, where we're bottom of the division. We're going to have to be the top 5 pick again, or top 10 pick again. Like I said, but like you said, when we had the Mark Trestman and they were trying to do that hard, get on your butt and all that stuff like that, that eventually soured on some players. Hold them accountable. Eventually soured on them. So like I said,
I think accountability that soured on them, or the fact that they were going to be.
He's the most. He's hard, but he don't teach you anything.
Yeah,
He wasn't undisciplined and he wasn't polished. And I think that's the biggest difference.
Right. So I think now, I mean, I just think, like I said, a lot of guys wanted him here, so it gives him a kind of an advantage because they wanted him here. But like I said, I don't think it all depends on Sundays. If they're winning games and he's holding them accountable in practice and they're winning games, they're gonna love him. If they're losing games, he's still trying to give them, hold them accountable, which they should do anyway, whether they win or lose. They always hold these people accountable, But like I said, if it all can turn in any direction, so it all depends on what do they do on Sundays. Is it translating into the field? Are guys not dogging it during practice? Because once they start dogging it during practice, you're going to see in the game, misreads and jogging out of routes and drop passes and undisciplined penalties, stuff like that. Like all what we saw last year in the last regime was those same, things, undisciplined, not paying attention. And so like I said, they need to nip this stuff in the bud now so we can, once we get this ball rolling, once September hits. Yeah.
Okay, let me read you guys a few quotes. Said, Kokoman says, I was probably like a yard off, Kokoman said with a laugh. It's just an example of how Ben Johnson's not letting up on the little things and making sure everyone's on the details. It's funny on that play, I'm kind of cheating myself out of getting the ball the way I was aligned. So afterwards, he's kind of joking like I was trying to get you the darn football. That's a good way to do things. Talking to him, making sure you go over it, and then let him know this is for you get the ball. All right. Now, what's DJ Moore? Finish it, of course. Says it all comes from a good place. I mean, he's not yelling at you because he doesn't like you. He wants the things right. He wants to win. He knows that's what you have to do. And I think guys have really been receptive to that thus far. DJ Moore said, described Johnson as fun, buddy, tense, adding a lot of work goes into it. You've got to be on your P's and Q's, and you've got to know the playbook. Okay, now talking about DJ Moore specifically.
Yeah.
There was reports today. He talked about when he got in front of the media that Ben already told me we have to work on our attitudes and what people see coming from us overall. I have to make sure that body language means something, and I have to make sure I'm showing the right things. Okay, that's what he talked about, right? And then reporter said, how do you know all this from OTAs and this one mini camp practice? What where's this coming from? And Ben said, DJ Moore says, something happened one time. He talked to me. It'll never happen again. So in my eyes, this means that DJ already showed his dismay with something that was going on. Ben Johnson warned him once. This is his chance, his opportunity.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you think that if DJ Moore doesn't change those ways, even though he's our number one receiver, he doesn't change those ways, could he be on the trading block?
No.
No. Like if it gets bad enough, maybe, because we saw that with Deebo Samuel. He was their one for like 3 or 4 years, and then he started doing a bunch of our stuff. They like, hey, stop the stuff. He didn't stop. They traded him. So even though he's very talented,
Ayuk was doing the same thing. So
yeah. But we also saw that he also broke his leg, so we really couldn't get off of him either. So
the other problem is, remember, we have Luther Burden the third.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a backup plan just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's the interesting part. What do you feel about it, Grant?
What I feel about it is with DJ. I mean, like I said, we saw it last year. Some of the temper tantrums, some of the stuff, the body language. Last year, we saw all that last year. But I think too, it could be kind of a reverse psychology thing. He could be doing that to see is Ben Johnson going to hold him accountable. They could, guys do that sometimes, but they want to see, are you going to hold us accountable? So they may, try to see what kind of coach this guy is, testing them, reading them and stuff like that. That could be what DJ is doing. But like I said, if it persists to the point where it could get ugly, where he's dogging routes, he's not running the right stuff, he's demanding the ball, stuff like that, being selfish, stuff like that, then maybe you have to go down that road. But I think it's kind of early because these people they're just filling each other out, trying to see what works and what doesn't work. So it all depends on what what's going to happen once early in the season start. That's when you still getting used to the offense, new offensive coordinator, new receivers coach. So, like I said, it remains to be seen. But I think it's a little bit too early to try to see talk about trading, block, and trading. I think just signed to one of the biggest contracts in Bears history too. Also, so like I said, I just pump the brakes on that.
Is it one of the biggest?
For a receiver.
Okay.
For a receiver, yeah.
Pretty sure it's not.
For a receiver,
yeah. He does have top 12 money, and even I think it was Ian Rappaport talked about the Bears should trade DJ Moore for Tyreek Hill, which I think that doesn't make any sense at all, because DJ Moore is 3 years younger, and you have more opportunity with DJ Moore. No matter if Tyreek Hill can stretch the field, you look at the coaching staff. You got to remember Eric Bieniemy. You got to remember Ryan Poles, who both worked with him. But I don't know if that's the right answer, especially for a receiver who's 31 years old.
Right.
So, but I bring that up is what if something comes up for Hendrickson? What if something comes up for another star player, a star pass rusher? Is DJ Moore expendable? Or will you be more willing to move someone else? Or is Roma Dunze the one who might be expendable? Or is it Cole Kmet? Because you understand, to get something,
you got to give up something.
Exactly. So could it be that they're doing all these things, saying all these things about Cole to increase his trade value? Because I'm telling you that what they did in the draft still is two different ways of doing things. You can't say I'm doing 12 personnel and then bring a third receiver in. So it's still it doesn't necessarily make sense. Are they positively talking about this stuff because of it?
You're right. Something has to give. But I do think if they're going to trade Cole Kmet or anybody, I would say the prime time would probably be to do it either the week before the season, at the end of the preseason, or the trading deadline. Because the trading deadline, you will know, is this working? Is it working? Can you get all these guys the ball? Are they fitting in this offense? You will know by the trade deadline of what do you actually have on this offense or on this team in general, the needs and everything that can get us over the hump if we're still in the race by that time. But like I said, I do think, depending on what Colston Loveland does in training camp, is he picking up the playbook and showing his skills that he showed in Michigan, then that may have Cole Kmet be expendable because of Colston Loveland's out playing him and stuff like that. There is question marks about his blocking. So like I said, if he can improve on that during training camp and show that he could be the guy right out the gate, then maybe you can give him a Cole Kmet. So,
Baron, how do you think that Colston Loveland did in blocking in Michigan?
He was solid, but he was most time like the guy on the end. Like he takes the linebacker he doesn't take normally. He chip blocks. He's good at blocking. He's not big. He's 6'7",
247.
Yeah, but it's not like if you know, he's
a tight end, so he's never going to be big. Cole, how big you guys think?
No, it looked like he hadn't filled in. He looks like he hasn't filled in completely. Okay. He looked like you see his arms. He kind of thin, kind of.
I think Cole Kmet, what he's 6'3", 6'4",
350.
How big?
Like 285, right?
I think like
what?
250.
Okay.
I said 275, 260, 275.
260, 275. That's what you guys really think with Cole Kmet. Okay.
I think it's 250.
All muscle.
You think he'll be able to run as fast as he runs at that size? Okay.
Nah.
That's interesting.
Only one person that can run like that at that fast, and it's probably LeBron. But that's it.
Okay. Cole Kmet is 6'6", 260.
I said, 260.
6'6", 260.
I said 260.
And Colston Loveland is 6'5", 250 right now.
He's only gonna get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
even though he's shorter, you could tell he hasn't built in completely yet. He hasn't built in completely.
Yeah, once he gets it's probably gonna take him to year 2 to really get to the size he wants to get to.
Yeah.
That
he's not used
to exactly what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I think all the stuff that I just brought up, I don't believe in any of it because he's actually 6'6" too. But I don't believe in any of that because I think it's gonna take a year to figure out anything, the things that you want to know. It's going to take a long time to figure this out. So Kokomet will be the number one guy still. We'll still have all those things happening the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't make any sense just to say you just got a new regime here. You got all these weapons. You're trying to see if it can work, and then you just say, you know what, we're gonna get rid of everybody and try to trade some piece. And you just talk all this stuff during the offseason about building a juggernaut on offense, and you're just gonna get rid of one of your best players already, and you haven't even touched the field yet.
Yeah,
it's all good stuff. Okay, let's round up these 7. So basically, Johnson also talked about Isaac Trapillo and Kieran Amagaji being at left tackle throughout this thing. They said there's no way to figure out what the hell's happening at that position at left tackle because you don't have damn pads. So you can look as good as you want. But Ben Johnson did say something that's very interesting. He did talk about the number one job of a tackle is pass blocking.
Pass blocking.
It's not run blocking, it's pass blocking.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if it's on the left side or on the right side. He thinks they're both the same, and you just need to make sure you keep your guy one-on-one off of your quarterback.
It seems like his philosophy is like the middle 3 are the run blockers, the outside 2 are pass blockers.
Mm-hmm. This is what he says. He said, number one, to me, the number one job of offensive tackle doesn't matter right or left, is to pass block. You need to be able to block their best pass rusher one-on-one. To me, that's the number one job, and everything we get out of it, get out of them is helps in the run game and will be gravy on top of it. If they can help in the run game, that is great. But we've got to find out who the best pass protectors are. The pass protector is the most consistent pass protector is, and really that's for all 5 guys up front.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's big on pass pro. And it's funny because he's a run-heavy offense, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a run-heavy offense. He is very big on pass pro, and I think that's really interesting to even see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The 6th thing we talked about, Johnson, he's very excited about DeAndre Swift. He played, he was a coach on, I think he's a tight end coach. I want to say in 21 and 22. Oh, no, so he was a tight end coach at 2020. And then 21, he was the pass game coordinator. And then 22 became offensive coordinator. So, he's definitely played with DeAndre Swift. He might have been one of the reasons why DeAndre Swift has been gone. This might be another reason why we're hearing all these murmurs about other people trying to join the team past this June 1st deadline. Specifically Nick Chubb, things like that. So my question to you is, are they also gassing up DeAndre Swift to try to trade him too? Or do they believe the things they're saying about him?
Personally, I think gassing up. I am not confident in him. I didn't like signing in the first place. I don't like signing in the first place, and I did last year. Kind of affirmed what I already believed. I think it was gassing him.
I think I'm gonna be the outsider. I think he's gonna have a big season this year. That's just me. I think he's gonna have a big season. I think he's gonna have a big season this year. I think the enemy's gonna put him in place, put him in gear. And I think he's going to show, like I said, I think he's motivated. As you could see in the interview, he was saying the same thing. Just the energy in the building is different. The enemy is holding them guys accountable. He's showing, things that not the dog no cones, all that stuff like that. Make sure you put 100% effort in everything that you do. I think the enemy is going to get him right, and I think he's going to have a really big season. If they get another running back or not, he's going to have a good season. I think he's going to have a good season this year.
All right, we got Allegheny. After an intense Call of Duty game that lasted an hour 15, I'm almost here. I'm here. It's Fly Eagles Fly. You're talking about Swift or Coach. So I'm telling you Swift. So you say he's going to have a big year. What is a big year to you?
I would say probably 1,000-yard season, probably maybe 1,000 to 1,200-yard season.
1,200.
Yeah. In between that, it all depends. But like I said, I think that's a good season for him. But like I said, I think what he did with Philly, that was probably his peak. But like I said, I just think he's going to have a better year than last year.
Okay.
He showed flashes. It's just that like he couldn't run between the tackles for whatever reason. But I think he's going to play. He's going to play angry this year. I just something tells me he's going to come with it this year. So we'll have to. But we have to remain to be seen.
I'm just going to read you guys a few stats. In his career, his entire NFL career, Swift has never had more than 1,049 yards.
Yep.
Never.
And that was with the best offensive line in the league.
Exactly. And they end up benching him in the playoffs.
Or what? Who was it? Who were they replacing with? Gainwell?
Yes. They rather trust Gainwell at the end of the day because though he was smaller, he was running between the tackle. So that is something that's interesting. I think that's probably what they're going to tell Swift. Hey, Bieniemy's probably will tell him straight up because he's a tough nosed ex NFL player. He'll tell you, hey, if you don't run between the tackles, you're not going to be on this team. We will put you on the bench. We'll play someone else. We don't care. We will get rid of you. But I will read this to you. So he's averaged in his entire career 4.6, 4.1, I guess 5.5, 4.6, and 3.8 yards per carry. The one of those 5.5, he only had 99 carries. He's never had more. He had 8 touchdowns his rookie year, and since then he's never had more than 6. I don't know.
He screams at scat back. He screams scat back.
He screams that he needs to have someone else in the backfield with him. Until he shows that he can run north and south, it's hard. It's hard.
He's the 2. He screams 2, not 1.
Mm-hmm. Swift never had 1,200. Best he had in Philly was 1,000 yards, and that's with the best offensive line.
Yeah.
So I'm still not sold on Swift. I'm sold on his talent. The man is a talented guy, and you can see his breakaway speed and his agility is just top notch. But unfortunately, he doesn't know how to use it. I asked you guys one more question. I kind of stole it from you, but how old is DeAndre Swift?
28.
What do you say, Grant?
27.
He is 26 years old. He just turned 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still say Nick Chubb should probably be here, but if they see something special from him, then you roll with Swift. He's young enough to start seeing things, and that means you really at 26 years old you have 2 more years to show that you could be a great running back. And if you can't make it by those 2, they're gonna get rid of you and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, these are all interesting things. What is the one thing that stands out for you for this Bears team that's going to have to get answered during this mini camp?
The communication between quarterback and his line. We need Caleb to move around the pocket and know what's going on at all times. And we know he has talent. He has all talent. If you just put it all together and keep up with the line that we built for you, you could probably get like 42, 43, 400 yards with no sweat with this team, with the offense we built for you.
Yeah, you can get that and still have a losing team. Real quick.
But that's what happens to a losing team. That means something horribly wrong with the defense.
Good. Or you just don't win games. Calling it now, based on the past performance, he will be in a shared backfield by 28 and not starting. Dude is not elite like he was supposed to be.
He wasn't drafted first round. He was like a second round pick.
But still, most second round running backs are drafted to be stars. If we would get Quinshawn Judkins or Travion Henderson in the second round,
they'd probably be getting bulk of the carries.
Yeah.
If not the starter.
saying
But
all this, but I'm agreeing with what Baron said. Still, I don't want to throw it out there. So,
Yeah. Like we all remembered he was most of the time that he's always been the two. He's always been the two.
even when they
His
gave him one opportunity and one talent, I remember we talking about fantasy football like 3 years ago. Everyone kept on saying, "Oh, I've been draft Swift in the first round." And I always tell you, come on, man.
like
I mean,
he's always like ever since college. He's always been the other dude. He's always been the other dude, the guy who's like, oh, he's the guy who runs inside. I'm the guy who tries to make big plays.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you feel about Grant? What's the number one thing that matters?
I think the number one thing that I'm looking for in this mini camp, Baron, he took most of my answer, but I'm going to go a different route. I mean, still along the lines with Caleb, I'm looking at footwork. I'm looking at deep ball accuracy. Can he hit the ball? Can he throw the ball on the money, deep ball? Has his footwork improved? Has he on time, like being on time with the receivers? All of that. What are they giving him as far as the calls? Can he audible yet? Are they baby stepping him? Stuff like that. I remember he alluded to this too. Ben Johnson has him change his footing at the line.
Mm-hmm.
He's normally did he say a right? I think he said right foot up guy, and he changes that to his left foot up and right foot back now. So it's all going to depend on. I want to see how his footing is and how can he
Wait a minute, isn't he right? Is he right-handed? Why?
Right-handed.
Why did he originally have that in the first place? Why did he do that in the first place? That's not.
It's
like it's
a lot longer for you to get the ball out there.
Yeah.
Right. So Ben Johnson switched it up for him. So just seeing how that goes, see how he can adjust to that. And I know it's mini camp, but can the offense win the day? When you usually around this time when you're hearing the defense, they're already more ready in their scheme of things around this time of year. But if the offense can show that they could win the day, then that shows that it's coming along. But they keep saying the defense wins, defense winning, then that shows that the offense has a lot to work on, and then there's going to be some questions that's going to be asked during training camp what's going on with the offense. So those are the main things I'm looking at for this mini camp. But like I said, mainly footwork and timing and stuff like that for Caleb.
Okay. My number two things, I got two things. One, I want to see if the defensive line could put pressure on the quarterback. I need to know these guys that you now paid all this money to could put pressure on the quarterback to actually get home at any point in time.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see and know what's going on.
Yeah.
I worry about that in itself.
Yeah.
And two, I'm not talking about the offensive line, but I need to know if they can run the ball. Because if you need to have a second running back, you need to get him now. You need to understand the system because the system is different. You're not going to run in here and just be able to just pop off. You're probably going to need to spend time. So I'm looking for the Bears to, by the end of this mini camp, sign a running back. Or if they don't, that means Monangai has gotten out of the doghouse because it seems like he's in the doghouse. He's slow.
In the doghouse right now.
He's too slow. And I was telling you guys that when we drafted him, I said it, right? I said he's too slow. He's I run a 4.754. I was like, I'm faster than him. That's stupid. Come on, that shouldn't be happening. He's too slow. He's too plodding.
Stiff. He's too stiff.
Well, he's very smooth. I think he's very smooth. I just don't think he's a great runner of the ball, and he's not quick enough to be in the NFL.
But I think that alludes to my point on previous shows that Bear fans have to look at reality sometimes. We got to see that he's a 7th round pick for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just hype this guy up like he's going to replace Swift. He's going to be our starting running back by year's end and all that stuff when he hasn't even touched the NFL football field yet. And as you can see, Bieniemy has been on his ass since he got into that camp. Yeah.
Put Brian on the stairs right now. No. This is me coming out of college. That's 20 years ago. I can't run to the refrigerator. I can't run to the bathroom. I can't run. I don't have my nose don't run. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Be sniffling. I can't do it. Nose don't run.
Yeah. But there was a clip also I seen about Monangai where Bieniemy said, "Hey man, you moving like an old ass man out there."
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like it just.
So he is running like me.
Yeah. So it's like, but
He
it's
has
just like,
no,
I
he has no go.
you got no
Yes.
go.
There's
So
no
like I said,
no explosion, and that's was my problem immediately, right?
yeah. So like I said, it remains to be seen. And like I said, can they run the ball? Be key.
Yeah.
So, have you heard of Vince Papoli? Why you always got to bring up Eagles people? We all heard of Invincible and all that other bull crap. And second of all, I didn't not play in high school. You know, I wasn't just a random dude. I could play. You fly Eagles fly crap. You guys are crap. F your team. F your couch. I kind of like their team a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I love Jalen Hurts. I love AJ Brown. I love Saquon. You know, but F his part of the Eagles. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're still a great team, and it's funny because I asked initially. I was gonna say, does the Ragnow retiring change the NFC overall? But then I thought that because the Eagles, the Cowboys, I think are getting their power back. The Commanders are right there, and now you're banned for life. You're banned for life.
Oh.
Banned for life. You're in timeout.
Yep.
You're in timeout.
Yeah.
You're in timeout.
And how's it gonna be my co-host giving me a hard time?
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to do that. That was a joke. Oh well. Come on back, Alex. Even with that said, it's fine. Yeah, no, I mean this is gonna be really interesting. I'm glad we get into the mini camp. We're gonna see all these days back to back to back. Got me this idea what's going on. Just before we get out of here, I want to talk about around the entire NFL. Are you guys surprised that Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Nope.
No, he likes drama.
Nope.
He's gonna drag us out for long.
But I am interested in seeing what are they going to trade for Jonnu Smith from the Dolphins? Are they going to trade for him?
Yeah, because I don't know why. Why do you like my things? Why do you like him? Why do you like him so much?
He had a really good year.
He's a Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl tight end.
No, it's not even that. It's remember he had a whole love affair with Johnny Smith when he was on the Falcons. When he's like, you have Kyle Pitts, but you love Johnny Smith so much that you practically made him. Even though he was a Pro Bowler last year, he was borderline a Pro Bowler the year before because he got practically fed the ball.
But I think it'll be because one of their tight ends just tore his Achilles and he's out for the year.
Harm. Thing is, you already have
Freiermuth
and Freiermuth.
But
you lost your third string. You lost your third string tight end.
But like I say, nothing wrong with having depth at tight end position. And I'm also hearing about
3D.
Hey man, you can never have enough weapons, man. Especially as a Pro Bowler. So, and Freiermuth can't really stay healthy like that. He's injury prone. Freiermuth.
Yep, he is.
So he's injury prone. So, like I said, you bring in a guy like that, that could help out whoever their quarterback is. But I think too, and I don't know if Brian can agree with me on this, but they've been some rumors about trade talk about Kyle Pitts. I know just the place where he should probably go to. If they were to trade him, I think if he were to go to the what, you don't think they're going to trade Kyle Pitts?
No.
If they,
man over here,
and where here another person?
No. I think it'd be a perfect with the Jets.
I think they're going to love Taylor. I think they're going to give Taylor an opportunity.
Yeah, I think they're going to Taylor opportunity.
I call him I call Pitts potential man. He's like he has all this amazing skill, and then for like 3 games he looks like that, and then the rest he just disappears.
Well, you got to remember who his quarterback was last year, most of the year.
No, he can't score. No, it's been his entire career. He can't score.
He's like, of course. He can catch. He's like in between like the 20 to 20. He's good. As soon as he gets into, he has no natural red zone ability.
Yeah,
he's just a good catcher.
So you guys want to know why the Steelers want Jonnu Smith, right? At least Baron, you want to know who's their offensive coordinator?
No, it's Mr. I love Jonnu Smith. We all know it's Arthur Smith. It's Arthur Smith. He loves him. He loves him. And it was part of the reason why we got fired. because like he's like, hey, you have Kyle Pitts here. Why are you using him?
You can't use him. That's why. Doesn't matter. You think you're trying to blame Arthur Smith for something that is a Kyle Pitts problem. So
Right.
it's just what it is.
Yeah, but I do think I know they're going to try to give Mason Taylor all the reps. He has looked good in minicamp for what I've seen, but I think with Justin and Kyle, if you go back to the pre-draft process, they both have very good chemistry. But I think it'll be a good fit for them. But like I said, I think Mason Taylor's a stud. They got him in the round 2. I mean, like I said, I would not be surprised if they just focus on Mason Smith because I've seen clips. He has been looking good in minicamp, and his rapport with Justin has been really good. So it'd be a hard, it'd be surprising. Yeah, it'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if they do pull the trigger on that. But like I said, I think Mason Taylor's going to be a good tight end in this league. So,
is there anywhere in the NFL that you guys want to talk about? Any other team that you're interested in? Is there anyone that you want to see on the Bears? Is there anyone that you think that we should be really searching out to see if we can get him on this team?
I will look at running backs who are young enough but starting to have like a
James Cook.
Do you think they're going to let him go?
James Cook. I don't see it, but I'm saying if he is on the block,
it's him or Hall. It's him or Hall.
I will call that. I will pick up that phone and make that phone call.
Hey.
No, James Cook. Forget James Cook. If Breece Hall was available,
no, of course. Yeah. But I doubt it.
Looking for these bad teams with great running backs. Look for these bad teams with great running backs.
Can we still trade?
Or the Bills, because they don't seem to value running backs at all.
Can we still try to trade for Quinshon Judkins? He's looked awesome at minicamp over there.
I told you that, right?
Can we make the phone call, pick up him?
I didn't know you could time people out. Boo, soft. Funny though. Yeah. I didn't know I could either. And then I saw it, I was like, oh, he's really gone. I was like, wait a minute. Now I have to explain myself. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Also, too, the 49ers just got Huff from the Eagles. And I don't know I forgot what the compensation was.
It was like a third round pick and like half the salary.
I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind. Maybe if the Bears would have kicked tires on that one, because they got a lot of pass rushes over there. I don't know if I'll give a third round pick for him, but
I would.
You said you wouldn't?
Mm-mm.
Right.
He was a recent signing. He was one of the recent signings.
Right.
Which it didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, why are you doing that without even seeing him?
Right. I mean, like I said, I think as far as out there, you're looking at. Obviously, I want Nick Chubb on the team. I want Nick Chubb to come here. I want Nick Chubb to be on this roster before training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get him in the building, see what he can do, see where he is. He looks good on his training videos. Let's see what he can do. Bring him in here. Like I said, I wouldn't mind that. But it'll be interesting to see who do we bring in. If we bring in anybody during this long break that they have after this mini camp, who they're going to bring in here. But it does remain to be seen that opening night, we're going to see it's going to be a lot of moving parts. And I think it's going to start off with a lot of adjusting, learning to fly, all that type of stuff. How it's going to be interesting to see. That's what makes this team so interesting, is because what is this offense and this defense going to look like come week 1? Okay. How are they going to look?
I won't end it with this question real quick. So the deal was a 5th round pick, and they pick up his contract, but we have a little bit of dead caps from it too.
Okay.
But the cash flow is different than dead cap, so cap space really changes. Are you guys surprised Keenan Allen still being without a team?
No,
he's like last year, like, okay, you lost your ability. You lost it.
No, I mean,
you look old. You look old.
How he lost his ability?
How many
catches did Keenan Allen have?
He had a lot. He had a pretty good season last year.
He had so many.
What a quarterback who could not throw the ball, who could not read everything, and the offensive coordinator that was not an NFL offensive coordinator. I literally think that Keenan Allen's going to go somewhere and make run 1,000 yards right now. I mean,
two teams. I could see him going to 3 teams actually if he does get signed before training camp. But he said he does want to go back to LA. You know, if that was his first choice. But I can see him going to Arizona. I can see him going to the Raiders. And I can see him going to the Jets also. They need receivers over there too, besides Garrett Wilson. So these are teams I can see that he can fit with. But I think because of his age factor and stuff like that, teams are trying to get younger. It's going to be very hard for him to find a roster spot unless somebody gets hurt.
I disagree 100%. You guys are way. He could be on the team right now if he wants to.
Has he got any offers?
He did. He's a veteran. He's enjoying the summer. Keenan Allen's going to be on a roster anytime he wants to.
Of course, but I'm saying
not only will he be on any a roster soon, I guarantee I already know the roster. Keenan Allen will be a 49er. Keenan Allen wants to go back to California, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Keenan Allen doesn't need a lot of money. What do the 49ers have? A need at wide receiver.
But
What is he? He'll be a stability piece.
But don't they have Zach Pearson over there too? And
Pearsall?
Pearsall. I'm sorry, Pearsall.
So Pearsall.
Ayuk.
The ghost of Ayuk?
I think he'll have a bounce back here.
They tried to trade him.
I know.
Yeah.
But no one would take him for the price tag.
Yeah, he just came up with torn.
Because he just tore his knee. Because he just tore his knee open.
Exactly. So Keenan Allen going there brings stability back to that team. You already lost from Debo. You bring Keenan Allen there. You only got to put him on a 1-year, $8 million deal. He's there. Brock Purdy looks better. The 49ers all of a sudden has a good enough team. I think that's where it goes.
Yeah.
We'll have to see about that.
Where does Keenan Allen go? Yeah, realistically, I'm telling you.
Realistically, Arizona.
No, he's not going to play. He's going to play only in California. Like I don't know why you guys didn't read his thing. He wants to go back to. I'm either playing in California or I'm playing in Chicago. That's it.
Yeah. You know, anything could change. Anything could change.
Yeah, he could retire.
That's
still and be a third ballot Hall of Fame or something like that. So imagine he goes to the Pats and Diggs gets cut for his boat scene. Oh my God. He's not going there either, guys. He's not. He's only going somewhere warm.
He's not a cold person. He's not a cold weather person.
He doesn't want to be.
That's
he
why
said the 49ers have already been in contact with him.
Okay. Well,
now, as far as another team, Amari Cooper is going to be a Jet.
That kind of feels par for the course. He tends to go. That feels par for the course.
Jets. What are you hearing about that? Is that like a?
I think that Justin Fields really wants him.
Yeah.
Once again, they already got rid of their real. I mean, they have Garrett Wilson, but they need that Devontae Adams type of guy. Amari Cooper saves them a lot of money. He still gives them the same thing that you're looking for. I think Amari Cooper ends up going to the Jets.
Yeah.
You don't think Alan Lazard could be that guy?
I don't think Alan Lazard could be on my flag team.
Mr. Stonehands,
Mr. Wherever Aaron Rodgers go, I go. That guy.
As far as our Bears, someone I think is really interesting is still the guy that we tried to get last year that didn't want to come to their team. And now he's going to take a real big pay cut. Matthew Judon. I think Matthew Judon comes to the Bears on a team-friendly deal. I'm talking about $8 million, $7-8 million.
Is there a mutual interest there?
Because nobody's really going to take him. Nobody's really going to take him.
We wanted him, remember?
I remember. We were on the phone. We were on the phone with Atlanta during Hard Knocks. But he chose to go to Atlanta for whatever reason. So, yeah.
So I think he realized that was the wrong move. He's going to try to renege on that. I think he joins the Bears on a 1-year team-friendly deal. It has Ryan Poles written all over it.
Yeah. Buy low and a player.
Last thing, J.K. Dobbins. Where is J.K. Dobbins going to end up?
like I don't really see a running back needy team. Like a good team that's running back needy.
He probably end up. Nah,
What are you
He's
gonna say?
qualifying more. He's a qualifying offer.
maybe Houston. I don't know what their deal is with
Yeah.
Mixon.
Mixon's
more
still
years.
good. He has 2 more years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This also still have Damian Pierce.
Jaguars. I don't like I said. I don't know.
They have
Is he
3. They have 3 players.
3 running backs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tennessee maybe.
No. I'm not. He's not going to a bad player team.
Not just that. Who does Tennessee have?
Tajay Spears and Pollard.
They have Pollard and Tajay Spears.
I don't know. I'm just taking a guess, man. I don't know.
I'm going to tell you that he's going to stay with the Chargers with that qualifying offer. And he's going to be buried in the depth chart and until something happens to JK. What's his name? Who's the guy that they just signed for the Steelers?
TJ Warren? No, Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. Till Najee Harris falls apart, then JK has a chance then to show himself. But yeah, I think he's going to be
these good teams.
These good teams and Achilles is hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's torn his knee and his Achilles. I mean, no matter what, as talented he is, it's hard. I mean, this is the NFL. He could be out of the league soon. He could not make it. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our trip around the NFL. But now we're going back home. We're going to focus back on our Bears. I can't wait to get here next Tuesday because we'll have more on what happened, this entire week. So we'll have a overall, feeling of what Bears minicamp means, and we'll know what they're going into that break before we get into real summer camp. So, yeah, man, this is gonna be interesting. And the Bears usually get 5 weeks off before they have to be there. Yeah. About 5 weeks off, and then we have real football again. So we have about 92 days to real football, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's coming. It's right now.
Coming.
So
yeah.
I'm excited by it. I know these guys are excited by it, but we'll be here for you guys every Tuesday going forward, making sure we're talking about the Bears, telling you what we should expect from them, and maybe we might even do a draft or something like that too. I don't know. Maybe do a fantasy football draft to give you guys some information. But thank you all for being here with us. We had a lot of fun. Alec, my boy, I'm glad I was able to time him out, even though I didn't know I could do it, but it's so funny. I appreciate you guys watching this with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Yeah.
We the Bears, monsters of the Midway, knocking teams out every Sunday. Fire in our eyes, can't stop our drive. Hit so hard, remind you of 85. We the Bears, monsters of the Midway, knocking teams out every Sunday. Fire in our eyes, can't stop our drive. Hit so